Hey, what up, YouTube? It's Steven. Welcome back. Alright, so I want to sound off for a quick moment on this whole Cardi B, Bruno Mars situation with them in this new video called Finesse, right? And I just want to put it out there right now. Both of them are, I think they might be some brown culture vultures, right? Really? Um, I don't know. I just feel like they don't really have. First of all, they don't identify as black, so that's a bit like, even though I think if you were to do like a DNA test, right, some black DNA probably would pop up at one point or another, right? But they don't identify as black. I think Cardi B identifies as Latina, whatever that means. And Bruno Mars, I'm not sure how he identifies. He tends to have like a whole mixture of things. I don't know. But I know it ain't black. And that's what's important, right? So these guys, Cardi and Bruno, they do this video called Finesse, and they're kind of like, it's a mixture of like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fashion-y, kind of like crisscross with the fashion, and also them being on the set of Living Color, or in Living Color, sorry. A little bit before my time, right? I think when Living Color was popping, I was probably like in kindergarten, so I can't. If I was really watching it, would I really get any of the jokes? I don't know. But I think maybe my brother and sister may have watched it, though. Me, personally, I was more like all that, right? Anyone remember that show on Nickelodeon? I think that was kind of like the In Living Color, in the SNL, in the Mad TV for kids, right? But yeah, they're doing this. But I definitely know about In Living Color, right? Um, J Lo, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, and some other folks too. The Wayans brothers, right? So yeah, I know about In Living Color though. But anywho, they're doing this kind of like homage to In Living Color and all this low key blackity black stuff without much black people in it. you know. So like these two racially ambiguous people are kind of like somewhat assuming the place and the position of black folk, right? And it's selling really well, I think, and it's marketable because they're so racially ambiguous they can appeal to a wide audience, right? And this just kind of goes to show like the low key shiftiness of some racially ambiguous folk, right? And the low key just shadiness and shiftiness of racial ambiguity in general, right? Being able to really kind of like almost be like a shape shifter. I know that kind of comes off as a bit like alien-ish talk, but yeah, kind of like a shape shifter in a way, right? And I know the black people who like really are like monoracially black and look black on sight, or I know they have a right to feel some type of way about this, right? Because there wasn't really many black people in the video, but like this whole thing kind of like coming from like black culture but without the black people, right? So that's weird. Why are we excluding like the black people from this? And we having these two racially ambiguous folks who don't claim black identities represent blackness and represent like in the place of black people. It should have been like, honestly, I'm not sure who should have been in their places, but it shouldn't have been them. Also, the song samples Michael Jackson's song "Remember the Time," and I kind of was thinking that too, because I was singing a song and I kept kind of like flowing into like the Michael Jackson song. I was like, "Well, I wonder why that is." Then, oh, okay, it samples that song, right? So that's a little like, okay, now you're culture vulturing again. But they paid for it. I'm sure they paid for it, but still. But the thing is, like, Why ain't y'all doing things from y'all own cultures though, right? And it seemed like they more so on black folk stuff, right? Especially Bruno Mars. He been like, culture vulture and swagger jacking black folk for a minute, you know. I'm like, why? Why not do some like, you know, Ashkenazi Jew stuff or some Filipino stuff or whatever other ethnicities he has. You know? And honestly, I think brown culture vultures are probably to an extent more dangerous than white culture vultures in some situations because they can look, they're getting away with this, right? It's harder to call them out because of this like racial ambiguity shape shifterness that they have, right? Being able to kind of like occupy certain space, especially black spaces, where people don't even want black folks to be in those spaces, but they want the black, culture that comes with it. So even more so, like, because like the white folks, I feel like they would have been called out for this. It's a lot easier to call them out on this, right? Did I personally like the song and like the video? Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice video, a nice song. Me personally, that was catchy. I haven't heard it on the radio so far though. At least not on any of on the pop station that I listen to. I haven't heard the song playing yet. You know. And that's the thing with Bruno. He's kind of getting play on both the pop stations and like the R&B hip hop stations. I think. So he's kind of like benefiting kind of like twice in a situation where if this was a black man who was monoracially black, he probably would just be getting played on, doing the same music that Bruno does. He probably would still be getting played just on like the R&B hip hop stations, right? And also, I want to say that, Cardi B and Bruno Mars are not the only brown culture vultures out there. You know, they're just the most popular ones at the moment. Personally, I view French Montana as being one of those people, a brown culture vulture. And also, like, these folks, I don't know about Bruno, but I know Cardi B and French Montana stay saying nigga in their music. And I'm like, really? You towel heads and you wetbacks. Alright, chill with that. Alright, that ain't your word. You need to be saying towel head in your music, French Montana. Cardi B, you need to be saying wetback or spick or some shit. Not nigga, 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 all in your music. I don't appreciate that. You know? Like, you ain't a part of the tribe. And I noticed that, Cardi B and French Montana, they love to throw out this like, oh, I'm part black. I think French be saying that he part Somalian or something. When it's convenient, right? When it's convenient. He part Somali, right? And with Cardi B, oh, she part African, right? When it's convenient. But you notice that they don't claim that identity. And even, both of them have, been with black folk as well. So just because they having relationships with you don't mean that they're necessarily down for like black folk, right? And I think that's something that we gotta have to promote and let people know about. you know you know just because you want to enjoy the pleasures of being with a black person, you know all of the above, doesn't mean that you necessarily are down with the black person, right? Just because you curious about some BBC or some big black ass, you know, don't necessarily mean you down for black folks, right? Because really, I think the question is, do you care about the person who is attached to, do you care about the black man who's attached to the BBC or the black woman who's attached to the big black ass, right? Do you care about them and their plight, that what they go through? And I think majority of people, it's like, kind of indifferent to it. I don't really care. I'm sure there's a couple of people. All right, I'm sure there are. But I noticed sometimes some black people be kind of like hyping those people up when they do like a little bit of something. Like I was watching this video, one of these reaction videos to that whole Joyner Lucas video, I'm not racist. Y'all remember that shit? Yeah. So I was watching a reaction video to that, and like it was like this black dude, right? You know, kind of like peanut butter, maybe light skin or whatever, right? And he was with this non-black woman. I'm not sure what her race was. Maybe some type of Middle Eastern, Latina. I'm not sure. Something like that though. That's the look. And she had said like, oh, I'm worried about, sometimes I do worry about you, And then some folks in the comment section were getting all hyped over it just because she said she was worried about homeboy and like in terms of like, police brutality and things like that. Which yes, you should be, but sometimes I think black people can hype it up to a point where it's like, oh, like there's this non-black person is so awesome because they're so down just because they did a little bit of something something. Just a little bit, even though black women have been doing a whole lot more and they ain't getting hyped up like that, you know? Yeah. But, that's a whole nother video though. But I'm going to bring this video to a close. I'm not going to keep it, going on too long. So thanks for watching, you guys. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Well, scratch that. Don't feel free to subscribe, but feel free to comment though. I really appreciate the comments and the feedback. And also, it's not that I don't appreciate the subscriptions because I do, but I just want to kind of get out of the habit of asking people to subscribe, But of course, I definitely appreciate the subscriptions, and I have noticed them too. I'm like over the 1,000 mark now. So thanks you guys for subscribing and supporting and watching the videos. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.